Hi, today I want to show you how you can set up real-time functionality using Xano and Toddle. So you can subscribe to real-time events and have the server send data to Toddle whenever new data is available instead of making API calls. And that's very cool if you want to have like a live comment section inside of your application, if you're building a social media application, if you want to have a live chat functionality in there, if you're building an AI chatbot, if you're working with anything AI that takes longer than 20 seconds to produce a result. So more than likely, you'll need real-time functionality. And today, I want to show you how easy it is to set it up. So let's get right started. So you need to go to nocodeprocode.com. If you are a member, you will have access to that template, and you just simply copy the Xano Realtime template, and the template is also in the video description below with a link so you can copy it. It requires, though, for you to be a paid member of the NoCode Pro Code membership, just FYI. And then you just paste it inside of Toddle, and you got that action inside of your Toddle account. So let's set it up. Let's do the Xano part. Let's do the Toddle part. Let's get it all set up. Beautiful. So now what we want to do is we want to remove everything we have on this page, right? And we want to go on this page here, and we want to go on the life cycle on this project. And I want to go unload, and unload, I'm adding my Xano SDK. And now I need to connect it with my database and create a channel for it. So let's set this up right now, because now we got to go back to Xano. Let's just save this. And now let's go back to Xano. Now, inside of Xano, we want to set up our database to support real-time. So we're going to go in the top right corner on settings. We're going to go to real-time settings. And now we need to enable real-time. And now, as you can see, real-time is enabled. And Xano is giving us a connection hash. We're going to copy that connection hash. We're going to go back in Toddle on our lifecycle unload. And in the Xano SDK, we're going to add our connection hash at connection hash. Now we're going to go on done to save it. And that was that part. So now we need to create a channel. And we want to create a wildcard channel so that we have one channel, but we can create a channel for a dynamic user or for a dynamic chat room or something like that. So let's go to channels and let's give this a plus. And now we're going to go to target channel, and we're going to give it a name. Let's call it, I don't know, Toddle. And we just do Toddle. And, right now, if we have a channel that's only Toddle, everybody on the website would get that ping that new data is in there. But we want to have a channel like Toddle and then, like user ID. So we have a channel for each user, so they only get their notifications. So we're going to enable nested channels. This will allow us to add a slash with a unique ID for specific channels. Here we go. And then we got permissions in here. And what we want to do is we want to enable anonymous clients. This is what you will be using most of the times. And then we're going to use allow clients to subscribe to channel presence. And then we don't need messaging in this one because this is just set up to receive data. And then we want to have the last 250 messages should be counted in the history. Now we can save this, and we got our Toddle channel. You can also set up channel triggers, but we don't need them because, we can just do API calls for that. So let's save everything, and now we got our channel, Toddle slash. Now, how about we create a channel in here that we got it. Now let's create a channel called Toddle, that's our channel group, slash, and let's say I'm user 123. And we can do it differently, actually. Let's create a variable called user ID, and I'm user 123, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to go unload, and then I'm going to go on FX, and I'm going to go on my user ID, and I'm actually going to concatenate this. So let's do concatenate, right? And I'm going to do Toddle slash, and let's move this to be the first. So we got Toddle slash, and then my user ID. That's the channel we're connecting it to. That's the stream of data. Now, if you do an API call first before you get the user authentication, you want to have this SDK initialized after you ran the user authentication, right? So that would be your life cycle to look for. And now we got the base URL. So let's go back to Xano. And now we need to go in the address bar inside of Xano, and we are copying our unique Xano server URL. That's also the same URL that you will see if you create an API. But since Xano actually runs on your own server, that's the URL you want to use. So we'll put that in here. And then we can also listen for the connection status. Actually, that's a good idea to debug this. How about we add some text in here, and we got some text, and let's create a variable called status, and beautiful, it'll start empty, or we can call this connecting as the initial state, as it will be connecting. And I click in this text, and I'll bind it to the status, and then I'm going to go on load and on connection status. I want to update the status with the event data that will give me the status. Now let's open this, and as you can see, we're going to have connecting, and now it's going to say connected. So we are connected with our channel, with our WebSocket. Now, how about we create another one of those text ones here, right? That actually will have a second variable called data. And let's just have this be an empty array so we know what it is. We'll click in the second text, and we go on FX, and we'll bind it to, not status, to data, just like that. And right now there is no data. So here we go, and then I go on my Xano SDK, and whenever I receive new real-time data, I will be going to set the data, just like that. So now we're on this page, and I'm connected, and I'm user 1234, 567, and now we can send messages. Right now there's no message sent, and now we can send messages using WebSockets, not from the front end to the back end, but from the back end to the front end after this connection was established. So now we can go to Xano, and we can just go in any API endpoint and do this. I think I already have one called Realtime, but let's just create a new one. Let's call this Realtime, and let's save this. Let's add a new API endpoint, and let's call this message, right? And this can be a post. This is how you would use that. Let's add an input in here of text. Let's call this message, right? And then I add a function, real-time event, and the channel, and let's actually also add the ID. We'll add user underscore ID. That's how we're going to communicate this with the user. So I'm going to go to the channel. I'll type in Toddle /. You can also make this dynamic. And then we add the concat filter in Xano. And I want to concatenate the user ID. So I have Toddle /1234567. So I'm using the proper channel. And then the data will be the message. Now we can publish that, and that's all we're going to do. So now we can go to run and debug, and I can send a message, hello from NoCode ProCode, and the user ID is 1234567. This could come from your auth. I run this, and now let's look back in here, and as you can see, the message was received, hello from NoCode ProCode. And this is very unique because normally, in order to receive a message, you would have to refresh. Your front end would need to, make an API call and then within a 30-second time frame, get a response back. With real time, which is pub/sub, where you subscribe to a messaging system, while that connection is established, the front end anytime, in 5 hours, can in real time send data to the front end. And we can test it. We got the app in here. Let's send a new message. Let's update what we sent. Let's call this Toddle. And I click run, and in real time, the front end built in Toddle updates. Let's call this subscribe to NoCodeProCode.com now. Subscribe to NoCodeProCode.com now. I send it and we say subscribe to NoCodeProCode.com now. And this is real-time data. And if I were to update the channel ID, and I were to send it to a different channel, if that user has a channel established, it would go to that user, not to this one, right? So this is how we use this wildcard nested channels to send the message to a user in a group. This is how we get dynamic channels. Right now, I didn't send anything. I can send a 7. I run it, and I have sent a 7, just like that. Or I can say, hey, Andreas. And I can run it, and it says, hey, Andreas. And this is great when you have asynchronous APIs. Like most of the AI APIs, they'll take very long to respond. Sometimes they can take 2 minutes. So immediately you run the API, you run it in in a background task. So you run it post-process. That's how Xano calls it. And then when the post-process API finishes, you'll send a webhook event, not a webhook, a real-time event to the front end with the URL of the generated asset from the AI. And that's how you can avoid this browser timeouts. And if you want to learn more about how you can use real-time functionality to solve your problems, you would be very benefiting from joining NoCode Pro Code, right? And I can send that, joining NoCode Pro Code. And actually there's this. Beautiful. From joining NoCode Pro Code. So if you want to learn more about real-time and you have any questions or you want more in-depth understanding of how you can work with real-time data, especially when you have AI APIs involved, or if you need to build a collaboration tool where multiple people work on a document and you want to get this user collaboration where you can even see like the cursor like of the colleague, like WeWeb has it or something like this. You may want to look into the educational resources and the courses that we have on NoCodeProCode.com. We got a bunch of exciting stuff in there, and I would love to see you in there. It's the best place to learn and build faster with Toddle and Xano. And we got daily I have to stop saying daily boilerplates. We got daily office hours, and we got weekly boilerplates and templates, and we got a whole component library with a bunch of cool stuff in there. How about I show you what we got in here? Let's look at, let's look at the Toddle tutorials. We got like a course on style variables, on compliant fonts, on multi-step forms, on like redirects, on billing and like protected endpoints, on authentication, on classes, much more. We got a bunch of things in there. And then we got like multiple Xano courses, how to build AI agents based on open source technology, how to make a website scraper, how to make loops in loops and how to work like with data augmentation in Xano, how to build the SaaS backend. That's a whole in-depth course, how to manage if people unsubscribe, how to manage, all those complicated things, how to build an AI SaaS in Xano, and then authentication crash course, all that stuff. And then we got the templates. They're very cool. So we got the Toddle template. We got, of course, the frame, real time. That's what we talked about today. And we got like a swipe plugin for touch gestures. We got a GSAP plugin. We got like a single page application template, a video player, a fancy file uploader, light and dark mode. Then we got the copy of the fancy file uploader, sliders for Toddle. We got like a moving rainbow gradient. We got like an AI image generator template, Stripe elements, AI voiceover generator, lemon squeezy checkout, much more. We got even more at Xano. We got like delete, like file management in there. And then we got the daily recordings of the office hours and daily office hours that you can attend and ask your questions if you are stuck at any particular template or anything that holds you back. We're making progress, and we really got like dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of educational content to help you get unstuck in there. As you can see, We got new content added every day. We got the miracle worker Ray deck with the backend in there. And, we got just a bunch of exciting content just waiting for you to be explored. And, we got even more we also got some more exclusive things like with a Chrome extension builder and all of those things. So if you want to join, go to nocodeprocode.com, and that's how you can benefit from daily content and boilerplates and all of that. But regardless of if you join or not, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you want to copy the real-time snippet, it is in the video description below exclusively for all NoCode Pro Code members. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got a great value out of this. And again, if you don't want to pay for NoCode Pro Code, you can also go to Xano and you do real-time JS library, and you go to the Xano Realtime JavaScript library. You got it on NPM, and then you can ChatGPT this together if you want. This is how. Oh no, is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. Let me actually. So if you go to the real-time Xano documentation, just like that, and you can go to connecting to a front end, and you go on Webflow, right? Because there is no official Toddle integration yet. They give you an example how to connect it with Webflow in vanilla JavaScript, and you'll be able to translate some of these ideas inside of Toddle. Now, if you don't want to touch the code, that's what we got the membership for. It's there to save you a bunch of time. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.